Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. I want to give you guys the latest information I have regarding Hurricane Ian. The storm's kind of a hybrid of Harvey and Katrina, but it's its own storm and it's going to leave its own mark in history. And I think we're going to see some historic rainfall totals, especially across the central part of the state of Florida. Right now, the storm, or at least the eye wall of the storm, is sitting about 250 miles off the southwest coast of Florida. It's going to make landfall somewhere here in this area. Landfall is definitely imminent now in the southwestern part of the state of Florida. It's getting too close, and we're about 24 hours away from a landfall. I want to give you guys some more details involving what type of rain to expect here in a moment. Also, tornado warnings underway right now as I do this video. There's been 2 or 3 spotted in southeastern Florida, one over here in southwestern Florida, and there's a tornado warning underway just south and west of Fort Lauderdale, also right now as I do this video. The satellite presentation of this storm is getting more and more defined. You can see the dramatic outflow channel up here. That's being influenced by wind shear, and normally wind shear has a negative impact on hurricanes and tropical storms. Not this time. This storm's eye wall is getting more and more defined, and it's looking more and more like a very large, powerful hurricane. I know there's been major airports closed. I believe Tampa and Orlando are both closed. Here's the latest path from the National Hurricane Center. We just saw it on radar. Right here's where it's sitting, about 250 miles off the southwest coast of Florida as a major hurricane moving north at 10 miles an hour. So that means in 24 hours, it's going to move about 240 miles. And then it's going to stall right here along the southwest coast. And then for the better part of 24 to 36, quite possibly even 48 hours, I'm over here at nullschool.net. And this is what the wind gusts are forecasted to look like here in just a few hours on 9/28/22 at 08 Universal Time. We're going to step it forward. We started at 08:28. You can see how slow the forward motion is of this storm. It's gotten even slower since yesterday. This storm is going to be right here in this same location between Tampa, Fort Myers, and the Sarasota area. It's going to be in that location for over 36 hours. And they've issued a special weather statement over here at the National Hurricane Center and the Weather Prediction Center. You see this bright pink in here? This is a weather warning that they don't normally use, and that is a high risk for flash flooding. You don't see pink on here very often. Usually the highest they'll go is moderate, at least 40%. For them to go up to a 70% over a wide area like that for Thursday and Friday, 2 days in a row, that is a really big deal. And that's even more confirmation that these computer models, you're looking at the 30th, 2 days of this storm sitting right here in basically the same location, maybe moving about 50 or 60 miles in 2 days. That's 48 hours of rain from whether it be a hurricane or a tropical storm. They're talking about over here rainfall rates of 3 inches per hour or more in this area. So simple math will tell you that if this thing's raining at a rate of even an inch per hour, the rainfall totals are going to be absolutely staggering. In fact, I found some over here at ventusky.com, and when I looked at them and found them, I had to look at them twice. Get a load of this here, just north and east of Bradenton, Florida. 50.28 inches. This is the GFS model over here at ventusky.com. Up here in the Tampa Bay area, 32 inches of rain. There's supposed to be a football game there on Sunday, and the football stadium sits right here, not far from the Hillsborough River, and then Old Tampa Bay over here on the left. More than likely, all of this area here is going to be inundated with not only rainfall water, but storm surge. The storm surge, I think, can be somewhere around 3 feet possibly. Right now, it depends on where this thing makes landfall. It could be more, could be less, but the rainfall totals are just staggering. 50.19 inches near Bradenton. Here's another closer look at some of these rainfall totals. 50.05. 50.02. Once again, this is north of Sarasota, just north of Sarasota, right in the Sarasota area, south of Tampa. 50 inches of rain being forecasted. Obviously, this is subject to change. This is just one computer model, but it's been consistent now for several hours. The wind, I don't think, is going to be a major factor involving this storm. I understand that it's a Category 3 storm right now, and on radar, this thing has an incredible satellite presentation. But as it slowly gets closer to the coast, it's supposed to weaken. It's going to remain very large. It's going to remain possibly a Category 4 for 12 hours. Who knows? It could go up to a Category 5. But by the time it gets near the coast, it's supposed to be down to a Category 3 and then quite possibly a Category 1. So the winds should not be a major factor. The biggest issue is going to be the rain accumulation. I mean, you're looking at 50s and 40s over a widespread area here in the Tampa area. Right now, the exact total remains to be seen. You know it's not going to be exactly 46, 47, 45, 50. Could be more, could be less, but that's what the computer models are assuming based off of the data that they're receiving, and the airplanes have been flying pretty much around the clock. Air Recon from NOAA. Here's a flight path that just occurred a little while ago. You can see it went right around the entire hurricane. Here's another flight path that left out of Biloxi, Mississippi, circled the storm for several hours trying to get the most accurate readings that they could. And here's the flight path again, and you can see this is the path they took around the storm, detecting readings, different barometric pressures and wind speeds and various things to get the most accurate information to input into the computers. And this thing is loaded with moisture. And once again, a very rare weather alert posted by the National Hurricane Center via the Weather Prediction Center. So looking at anywhere from 24 inches to 30 inches, quite possibly some places could see 50 inches of rain in the Bradenton area, Sarasota area, and that could change. But it's getting very close. The storm is slowly but surely getting closer and closer to the southwestern coast of Florida, and it looks like it's going to make landfall between Cape Coral and Sarasota, right in there in the next 36 hours, because again, this thing's going to slow down to an absolute crawl. It's going to be sitting here for hours, quite possibly 2 days in the same location, piling up rainfall totals that could accumulate to somewhere in the neighborhood of possibly 50 inches of rain. So if you're in that area and you haven't made up your mind yet what you're going to do, just know it's going to rain a lot. Be prepared for a lot of rain. I don't necessarily think the high winds are going to be a real big factor, but it's going to be windy. It's definitely going to be a tropical storm, hurricane-like situation. But are the winds going to be 150 mile an hour winds? I don't think so. I think we're going to see gusts of probably 100 mile an hour here and there. And another weather warning posted by the National Hurricane Center, pretty much the entire west coast of Florida is under a storm surge warning, anywhere from 1 feet to over 12 feet of storm surge. And that's dependent on where the storm makes landfall. But look for storm surge along most of the west coast of Florida in the next 24 to 48 hours. And the storm surge warning is not limited to just the west coast of Florida. It's also been implemented up here in the northeastern part of Florida, in the Jacksonville area. Could see storm surge from a powerful hurricane that's going to impact the west coast of Florida, but the storm is so large that it could create storm surge clear over on the opposite side of the state. Power outages are obviously going to be a big concern, like they always are with hurricanes and tropical storms. Puerto Rico is still looking at 468,000 customers without electricity from Hurricane Fiona, and Florida right now looking at 3,166 customers without electricity. Look for that number to go up here in the next 24 to 48 hours. And when the winds are high and there's obviously a lot of flooding going on, it's going to be difficult for the linemen to get the power back on, at least quickly and safely. So the areas that do experience power outages from the upcoming hurricane may be without power for an extended period of time, as this is going to be a long duration, very powerful storm that's approaching the southwest coast of Florida. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.